Hey everybody, it's Dave here, and we are continuing our series on draft prospects by position. Tyler Forness of Climb in the Pocket, one of our draft experts, scouts that lives for this time of year, will break down the next group. First off, let's find out what that group is. Hey Tyler, what's the next group we're going to be talking about today?
Well, we've covered everything now on the offensive side of the football, and now we are going to transition back over to defense. We're going to talk interior defensive alignment, a position that the Vikings both know really well, have struggled to fill, and something that I know is very passionate for you, Dave.
Oh, yes, it is. I love both sides of the line. So, let's see. Who have you got at number 5?
At number 5, I have Eli McNeal, the defensive tackle from North Carolina State. Eli McNeal is fun. One of my colleagues over at Blue Chip Scouting, Dante Collinelli, comped him to a boulder. And let me tell you, yeah, he is a fantastic, fantastic football player. And yeah, he is very quick off the line. He's like 6'1.5", like 320, and that weight is evenly distributed. He's got a lot of power, uses his hands pretty well, but they're a little inconsistent. He's able to penetrate. He's going to be probably best as a one technique at the NFL level. And he can rush the passer. He's got a really, really nice interior swim move. And overall, Eli McNeal just makes plays and gets himself around the football. And he's really, really quick for a guy his size. I had a blast watching him play. And wherever he goes, I know he's going to be a successful football player because his motor is going to translate on and off the field.
You got to love guys with a good motor. Who have you got at number 4?
Number 4 is Iowa's Davian Nixon. Now, Nixon is a really, really good football player, and I enjoyed watching him, but I'm not entirely sure where his best fit is going to be because he's kind of an oversized 3 technique at around 310 pounds, but he's able to penetrate and win with both quickness and power. Nixon also has a really nice motor, which I know you just talked about, Dave, is a must for defensive linemen. Nixon, it just plays a little violent, and he throws guys around, and he's able to penetrate the backfield. His game against Northwestern this past year was just filthy. He had multiple sacks. He was chasing guys from across the field. Nixon is an excellent football player. In any weak defensive tackle class, he's probably going to get pushed up a little higher than he should go. We're talking he's probably going to get drafted like early day 2. He should probably go like beginning around 3. But this is an abysmal defensive tackle draft, and anybody who needs one's probably going to take one a little higher than they should, and Nixon would fit the bill with that.
Gotcha. Who have you got at number 3?
Number 3 is Jay Tufele, the USC defensive tackle. Now, he was one of the guys who opted out for the 2020 season due to COVID-19, and his 2019 film was really good. He is more of a quick penetrator than he is a run stuffer. He is able to penetrate off the ball really, really quick. He's got that really nice first step. He's able to win with a couple different moves as far as rushing the passer. He still needs some work on counters, but that first step quickness and ability to continue working is really going to serve him well at the next level. It's going to be really interesting with him and all these other opt-out guys, how having that full year off healthy is going to impact them as a rookie. But Jay Tufele, I think, is a very good football player, and he's going to be a value selection in round 3 because I think if he would have played this year, we might be talking a guy who could be back in round 1, early round 2. He has that kind of juice.
Well, you talked about the year off, and that is interesting because some players will benefit from it, like their batteries are recharged, and others might not because they're not getting the reps. It should be interesting to see. With that, who have you got at number 2?
this might surprise some people, but it's Christian Barmore from Alabama. I am not as high as other people are in Barmore. Obviously, he has the massive athletic upside, and he's got really, really good first step, but he gets stood up a little too often for my liking. He does have a power element, but he's not consistent with it at all. A lot of what you see from Barmore's tools, you have a lot to work with, and a guy like Andre Patterson would salivate to work with a guy like Christian Barmore. But at the end of the day, it's not just about your tools, it's about what you are currently as well and how that projects. And the tools just aren't there right now as far as consistency. And I worry he's not going to be able to kind of figure out that consistency element. He did improve throughout the course of the year, but most of his wins are coming from just beating people and overpowering them. And he's not using nearly as much technique as you would like to see at this stage. So I gave him a mid-second round grade. And I think he's going to be a really good football player wherever he goes, but technique has to be worked on, and he has to work on leverage, hand placement, counters, and just continuing to fortify those pass rush moves that he has. And I think if he's able to do all of that, you're talking about a guy who could be a fantastic 3 technique for quite some time. But I have some reservations, and that's why he ended up as my defensive tackle too.
We know in a lot of the mocks, he was mocked to the Vikings early before they signed Tomlinson. So, interesting. And any of these guys getting with Andre Patterson would be a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. Patterson should be the ideal defensive line coach for any defensive lineman.
With that, who have you got at number 1?
That would be Levi Onwuzurike, the defensive tackle out of Washington. And when you watch Washington's defense, it's incredibly frustrating because they run this really weird concept where you have 2 wide 9 defensive ends, a nose tackle, and then they basically drop 8 into coverage. And Onwuzurike is a 3 technique, but he played a lot of 1 technique, landing up right in front of the center, and it's not where he thrives. It's not where he's going to win in the NFL. So getting him in more consistent positions to win, I think is going to be really key to unlock his development. But his initial first step quickness is lethal. He does have a swim move. He is able to use a spin move as well. He's great at disrupting the run, a great interior pass rusher. I think if he goes to a true 4-3 defense where he's allowed to be a 3 technique, you're going to see that potential unlock. And I wouldn't be shocked if he goes in the first round. This is a historically bad defensive tackle class, and I think he's the best of the bunch. Like the back end of that first round, we're talking like New Orleans. They just lost Sheldon Rankins. We're talking the Green Bay Packers if they want to get even more multiple in the front. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're not going to be able to keep Ndamukong Suh forever. He's getting older. Putting him and Vita Vea next to each other, that'd be filthy.
That's funny. I like that description. Filthy for defensive linemen. Now, are any of those guys possible for the Vikings to pick at 14?
No, I really don't. I think if the Vikings take a defensive tackle at 14, we should be burying them on the draft stream, Dave. The talent isn't there. Like when the Vikings got Sharif Floyd in 2013, he was projected to go like at pick 3 to the Raiders, but they chose to go a different direction, and he was that kind of talent. He falls to 22, and they end up taking him. Like that was a value pick. That was a smart pick. The Vikings taking a defensive tackle at 14 would be an awful selection for value, and based on what the talent surrounding them would be as well. Like, it would be abysmal.
And I think the Vikings want to go with this 2 nose tackle front and be a little different this year. So we'll see how that goes. Interesting. I love the big round bellies, and it was great to hear about the interior guys. With that, everybody, join us again tomorrow. We're going to go through another group. As always, Skol Vikings!